Initially, when I would have heard about nuclear, I just think pure evil. I kid you not, guys. Personally, I just think pure evil. And then I would have had a conversation with Dr. Smith, many conversations, and then I would have learned the beauty of nuclear engineering and what nuclear power can do to this world. So I'm learning from my former student.
Nuclear fission is the splitting of atoms to release energy from a mass, and that goes back to Einstein's equations of E is equal to mc squared.
Just the fact that she attended this school, that plays a big role in them being able to see how feasible an opportunity like this is for them.
I'm so proud of her. Mr. Johnson.
The fact that we are able to have this program with the first person from Jamaica to ever get a PhD in nuclear engineering is truly remarkable and out of this world.
When you put the control rods in the reactor, what's happening? It's absorbing the neutrons, right? So
it's not something they saw on TV. This is somebody who is from their own environments.
So answer me now this. Is nuclear energy safe?
No. When you got told you were going to a nuclear boot camp, what did you expect?
Firstly, the first thing came to mind was nuclear power plants. Well, mostly nuclear bombs, but
bombs. Nuclear had something to do with atoms to me, honestly.
I think a nuclear engineer create bombs.
When nuclear waste is buried, you have people who dig it up and use it for wrong reasons, like to create nuclear weapons.
Nuclear waste is currently not stored anywhere underground. So where you get that information from? If you're saying something and you're confident about saying it, make sure so you have something to back it up. Or else we are feeding into those misconceptions and the spreading of misinformation. You're looking at the death rates per electricity production for different energy sources. Brown coal, oil, biomass. I remember we talked about biomass. What is biomass?
Burning of wood.
The burning of wood. All right. What comes next? Gas. And hydropower. And nuclear is where? Down here with wind and solar.
The sweltering heat is now crippling poultry production.
Of the over 300 chickens, just over 100 are left.
Disappearing rivers have been disrupting livelihoods as drought conditions worsen island-wide.
When we talk about energy reliability, we're talking about how often we can have that energy source running. If it has a capacity factor of 30%, it means only running 30% at a time. During the hottest time in the year, these solar panels are operating at what percent capacity factor?
over 30%.
Is that a lot?
No.
And so capacity factor of nuclear, how does it look?
Extremely.
Right, if you average this out, it's going to be 92%. The only energy source that comes close is geothermal.
The bigger mission here is to take a hard look at the energy mix in Jamaica. We have a very large dependence on imported fossil fuels to produce electricity. It's extremely expensive.
Jamaica, we know 89% fossil fuels and wind, solar, and hydro.
Did you ever hear people complain about the electricity bill?
All the time.
You plug in your phone, you're using it at the same time. They're like, why are you running up my electricity bill?
In some households, they are forced to not use the lights during the night.
Say the Prime Minister come to you and say, what energy sources would be the best to use in Jamaica? We can't use solar. Prime Minister said we can't use wind. But we can't use that alone because why? They're not on all the time, right? So we'll go over to the base load energy sources. And base load energy means 24/7 energy. Jamaica is doing this. It's using the 24/7 electricity from fossil fuel, and it's getting the variable energy from renewables. There are some parts of the world where say, we don't want that, but we have this. But there was a study done by the University of the West Indies that identified 8 Caribbean countries that have geothermal capability. Jamaica was not on that list, unfortunately. I remember how small our hydro capability is. If you now have hydro capacity or geothermal, then you can look at nuclear as 24/7 energy because you have a higher capacity factor and you mix it with renewables, right?
To do this boot camp, I put together a team of Jamaicans, Americans, people from the UK, Canada, who are very knowledgeable in this area.
We're going to do a workshop called Climate Fresque, where you guys get to collaborate and try to figure out how climate change works.
Transportation, agriculture, building use.
Here.
Wait, why you put everything in one line?
And it's melting now.
Yeah, and that releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
3, 4, 5, 6. Stand right here, guys. 7.
So here's your slowpoke tool. As reactors go, this is really, really tiny. This is a tiny reactor. And all we're doing is just introducing those samples into the core. So it goes through these white tubes, and that's where it's exposed to its neutrons. This is going to show me how far in. It's my pleasure always to expose young minds to what we do here. Furthermore, these kids are very smart. They ask great questions. They're very enthusiastic.
That's the actual weight of the reactor.
That's the actual weight of the core, yes.
Miguel, are you good?
There are a whole lot of opportunities for a country like Jamaica, and we're just not utilizing as much as we can. And the brain drain is a big problem, and that's part of the reason why several industries cannot expand, because you need a critical mass, so to speak, of educated people. If there are no jobs here, or if the salaries are low, they leave, and then we lose that to developed countries who already have that critical mass.
Why didn't you leave?
For the same reason, we didn't want to be a part of the brain drain, because then nothing will progress.
So every energy source, no matter which one, all of them requires critical minerals or critical materials that need to be mined to be able to harness that energy source. One uranium pellet that is this size can produce the same amount of energy as 1 ton of coal. 120 gallons of oil to give me the same energy as this.
Why do we use nuclear in space? It takes a ton of energy to put anything into space at all. So most of the things that we do in space are powered by solar. But the sun's energy is much more powerful closer to the sun. By the time you get to Saturn, it's 1% as strong at Saturn as it is near Earth. And so if you want to do anything out there, you need something like nuclear energy. You can actually just take existing nuclear waste that people don't know what to do with right now, that is currently sitting in safe locations. We can take that and then power rovers, power satellites, power landers. It opens up a lot of opportunity. And so I encourage you, if that's something that interests you, to really pursue that. This is something that you can really get ahead of and participate in.
You have the abilities, but you miss out on the opportunities because no one gets to see what you are capable of. Getting straight A's is not enough. They have to know what you are capable of. Be too much.
So the competition is immense.
All right, positrons, we present you with
uranium,
an electronic radiation detector.
We're not as common as, let's say, a proton, a neutron, or an electron. You have to know a little more about the atom to know about the positrons.
But don't worry, the opportunity to win the bigger prize is during the group competition. Your pitch will start with a story that highlights the problem that you are trying to solve. I can give you an example right now. The problem with this room is that you don't have air conditioner and we have burn up and we're hot in here. After you do that, your solution, how it works. How are you going to introduce your technology in such a way that the public will accept it?
I am Davian Irwin, co-founder of NESA.
NOVA, Safe Nuclear Output Version Alpha.
Nuclear Fissionaires Incorporation of Jamaica.
position 4.
Nuclide Gen 4X.
I have come and tell me about all light bill 50,000, everything plug out, TV plug out.
The Met Service of Jamaica recorded the highest temperature ever in June.
Fridge plug out of my yard. I must joke here run.
Imagine coming from work and there's no electricity because the sun has set.
Imagine a place where skies are bright, no longer tainted by carbon's light.
I'm really sorry for feeling like I can't afford to be paying $30,000 and I barely even use the light.
After the SMRs are built, it will provide up to 94% of Jamaica's power,
reducing the country's vulnerability to energy price fluctuations.
And will also lead to a major cut in the cost of electricity.
The water that flows through the reactor core is kept at a very high pressure to prevent it from boiling.
The steam generator will generate steam to the turbines.
The rest will go to a hydrogen plant.
Using a CANDU reactor allows for that reactor to be fueled while it is in operation, and so it is a lot more reliable.
As you can see here, the circles represent earthquake activities around Jamaica. So we decided to place the nuclear plant here.
Money, right? We need it. So we can make this.
The world set free from a carbon sting. Imagine what a spectacular beauty it would bring.
So how about we get money from the Caribbean islands around us and say, you see, when we get the extra resources from the nuclear reactor and our benefits and the medicine and the sciences and the little extra knowledge, we give you some of that and make a nuclear reactor for you.
Coming in first place, the nuclear engineering specialist and safety For coming first place, you have been awarded each a tablet PC. That we were very, very impressed with all groups. And so we say, you know what? Everybody I get tablets.
So we have approximately 30 students now who have immersed themselves into the nuclear energy thought, and they are speaking the language in such a profound and authentic way that when I listen to them, I just can't believe that 5 days would have done this.
After this week, you folks know more about nuclear engineering and nuclear energy than anyone, than most people in the... How you feel? Good. You feel good? Give us a round.
We had perceptions and we have ideas, but now we are learning the truth, and the truth is what matters. Thank you so very much.